So Heather, I'm going to turn the floor over to you right now. Heather and I know each other from previous lives when we were both part of the corporate world, right? And then the universe nudged both of us forward, and both of us ended up starting our own business. And I think we're kind of doing a great job, Heather. And the topic for today that you're going to be talking about is toxic workplace trauma and recovery, building your confidence. I know there's a lot of people on this session here today who maybe came from a situation, it could have been pre-COVID or as a result of COVID, where it was psychologically damaging, right? And it's like, how do you get into the mindset of being a positive, upbeat job seeker when you're not feeling that way, right? So I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Heather, and I think we can probably go a couple minutes longer, up until I think 12:30, unless our next speaker is a few minutes late, then we can go a little bit longer than that. But I'm going to turn the floor over to you right now.
Okay, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. So yeah, 70% of my clients come to me specifically because they are in toxic workplaces. A lot of the time they have been there for a while, they're top performers, and they're noticing that they're depressed and they're anxious and they're just tired of the toxic environment. And I think a lot of this has become more clear because of the pandemic and because of remote, work situations for so long, with people being told that they're being forced to come back into the office and do the commute and do all of those things that, add on to that stress and anxiety. It's kind of becoming the last straw for a lot of people. What a lot of people don't realize until we start talking about it is that a toxic workplace very much mirrors what an abusive family system looks like, or intimate partner abuse cycles. And what I mean by that is it usually starts out very good, very friendly, loving. We're all one big happy family. And then what starts to happen is there's a coldness, kind of a dismissiveness and a disrespectful tone that a lot of people experience from their boss, their manager, their leadership. Then that can erupt into things like stonewalling, where there's no conversation, or even anger, yelling, screaming. I have a client right now who has a boss who literally screams and yells at the employees, slams doors, does all of those types of things. After that, there might be part of the cycle where all of a sudden the boss gives you coffee or says in a meeting that you've done a really great job. And then people go, okay, well, maybe it was just a one-off. It was just that one incident. But pretty soon we start to see the cycle repeat. It's very serious because this causes anxiety, depression. People will find themselves with migraines, insomnia, GI issues are very common. And of course, because of that emotional, psychological feeling of abuse that is happening, when people come home, they can't stop ruminating about it and reflecting on it. And it becomes very invasive. So there is a lot of trauma that is involved, that happens. And when this starts to become a regular cycle, usually we say the cycle kind of quickens, right? And it becomes smaller and faster. And what people find is that they start to feel paralyzed. They start to feel stuck because they are being beaten down. Usually it's the top performers who are targeted, because top performers tend to have a personality type where they want to keep doing better and making it better. And what ends up happening is you get stuck because your self-confidence is getting beaten down, because your anxiety is heightened, and people go into kind of a freeze mode where they feel like, I can't get out of here. This is just what it is. There's also some fear about the unknown. What if the next place is just as bad, right? Or what if it's worse? At least I know what I'm dealing with here. But the ramifications of this type of toxic workplace environment and the subsequent trauma, it will not go away. It will only get worse, right? So that's what we're looking at about the seriousness of this, is that if you don't address it, you will become more and more unhealthy. And you will also experience things like brain fog, right? So the point of the toxic workplace recovery with the coaching that I do is to acknowledge the trauma, is to dive into why you might have stayed as long as you've stayed, is to rebuild your confidence, think about what your true talents and abilities really are. Because again, most people who are targeted in these workplaces are top performers. I work with VP, CEOs, executive directors. Many of them are carrying a very, very heavy load of leadership, but they are also being abused by the person whom they report to, or the people. So we have to really take a look at, how did you get here? What made you stay? And how are we going to move you forward? And so we actually compile what's called an exit strategy in order to make that happen. One thing that I can tell you for sure is that once you make the decision to leave, you will completely remove yourself emotionally from what's happening and psychologically. So what you will be looking at is, instead of reacting, you're going to just simply be responding. And instead of absorbing, you kind of go into an observation mode. It's very freeing, because you've taken your power back and you realize that this is not going to be the rest of your career. You are making a move to get out and to get into something better. My clients, once we do this work, and then we do all the technical stuff, LinkedIn, resume, interviews, salary negotiation, all of those things. But through that process, we're also taking a look at, what does the culture look like? What does it feel like? What is the body language like? Are they telling you that we're one big happy family? Because that's a red flag. So we learn, what are the green flags to look for? What is the communication like between the people in the panel interview? What has your communication been like throughout this process? What can you learn about this company online? All of those things we want to do so that we can make a decision that the new position that you're accepting is actually in a healthy environment. And so there's a lot to this. I know that I'm a little bit rushed because of the schedule mishap on my part. So do you have any questions for me?
Well, I'm going to give everyone just a moment to respond. So on StreamYard, if you have a question, if you put it into comments, it takes about 30 seconds for you to hear what we're asking, and then another 30 seconds for people to type in and get that in, Heather. So I just want to kind of comment on a few things. You may not feel comfortable asking a question on camera, especially if you're in a situation right now. If that's the case, you can, if you're connected with me, you can message me on LinkedIn, and I will anonymously ask your question for you. Or if it's something you don't want to ask, but you have a question for Heather, you could always ask her later, right? Heather, are you open to connecting with people on LinkedIn? I'm going to pull up your profile right now while I'm
Yes. Yep. I'm very open, especially any friend of yours, as you know, is a friend of mine. So
that's awesome. And I'm going to put up your LinkedIn URL up on screen as well right now. Do you have any kind of asks for people when they connect with you? I always like to tell people, include a personal note, tell them where you met them. Or in this case, if you watched Heather on the segment here today, if there's something that, you could mention in that invitation that would be helpful. Is that what you would prefer, Heather?
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Yep, that's perfect. And then people can always set up a discovery call if they are interested in coaching, or even, at the least getting some resources. My website is in my profile on LinkedIn, and you can set up a free discovery call with me too.
Okay, is that under your contact info where we can find that? Okay, so I'm going to click on contact info. And by the way, if you're in career transition, or even if you're working, look inside your contact info, make sure that your website, if you're working, it should be your current employer. I think even if you're in a toxic situation, I would still put your current employer, because it makes you look like a good employee. What do you think on that, Heather?
Yeah, absolutely. It does make you look like a good employee. And, just being able to show your brand is important as well. So people know what you're all about.
All right. And I just dropped in on the screen here. This is your website. So if they wanted to schedule a discovery call with you, Heather, where would they go on your website?
It's kind of peppered all the way throughout, just says schedule a discovery call here, but they could also, I believe toward the top, it says something like sign up here, or sign up for, it's somewhere up. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe under the,
yeah, probably under. get started.
Okay, there you go. All right, so
it just got redesigned a little bit ago. So
yeah, no, here it is. To get started, please schedule a 30-minute discovery call below. So you guys can go to her website, navigate around, and be able to find that link. I mean, Heather, I just want to say, you know, things happen. I don't know if it was me that communicated the wrong time to you or if it was scheduling. It happens. You know, Heather, you and I are both human beings. And I respect so much you coming on today. And I would love it if you could jump into chat, Heather. I think we've got Bill in the background. I'm going to bring him in just for a second. Bill, are you okay? Give me a thumbs up if I can bring you up on screen just for a second. Okay, just a quick audio check. Bill, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, perfect. We can. I'm going to take Bill off screen, and Heather and I are going to wrap up our conversation here today. And Heather, you bring so many gifts and talents, and you help so many job seekers that are out there in the marketplace. If you guys joined us late here today, Heather was talking about, let me pull it back up on screen again today. We were talking about toxic workplace trauma and recovery, building your confidence. I wish we could go longer. If I didn't have Bill waiting behind you, Heather, I would keep us going here. But such an important topic. Heather, I'm wondering if I might be able to invite you on a LinkedIn Live, a solo interview with me in the next couple of weeks, and we can continue the conversation. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I would love that. And I will make 100% sure I put the right time in my calendar. I'm so sorry. But, you know, I just want to say something real quick. Yeah. I know that you've done this. Is this the third year, fourth year? I'm starting to lose track of the LinkedIn-a-thons.
The first time I did a LinkedIn Live-a-thon was 2 years ago. It was actually a fundraiser through the American Cancer Society, and it was in person. Earlier this year, I started the virtual events, and I did January, February, March, April. We skipped the summer and then started again in September. So
yeah, so I think it's what you do for people that are in career transition and job seekers on this side of what you do is amazing. And I am always so happy to do any sort of work with you, and want to thank you. I send my clients your way all the time for your wonderful advice. So thank you for doing this.
You're welcome, Heather, and vice versa. So many times people will approach me and they say, I need help with my LinkedIn plus my resume or a career strategy. And I'm like, I don't do resume and career, but I know Heather has a package where she does all of those things. So you're at the top of my list too, my friend. So thank you so much for joining. And if you're able to, Heather, we'd love it if you could jump into chat. There may be some questions or there might be some messages coming your way as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. See you later.